This is the Hanging with A podcast.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Hanging with A podcast coming to you always from Brockton, Massachusetts. I want to say thank you to everybody who has tuned into the Hanging with A podcast. We're over 3,000 subscribers. The Hanging with A podcast is also monetized. All these things does not happen without the support of you all. So I just want to say thank you very much for all of that. The Hanging with A podcast is on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. And I'm also on Snapchat. So you can follow me on all those platforms. You can also now listen to the Hanging with A podcast on Spotify. So if you can't catch it on YouTube, you can now listen to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest. I came across her Instagram probably about a month ago, and I sent her messages underneath her photos because I wasn't sure she was going to look at the messages because she's busy. But I was very blown away by her profile and what I saw. To me, she is. I haven't seen her fight in person, but I'm going to go ahead and say she is the best female boxer in Rhode Island in the Massachusetts area. She was nice enough to come on here and talk to us about the incredible things she's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Jaime the Hurricane.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so as far as the boxing goes, I've been boxing for about 30 plus years. I've been a professional since 2000, which is a really long time. I took an 8-year break when I had my children, and I just came out of retirement, a few years ago just to kind of test the waters and see where I was at. I'm 47 years old, so it's a little bit unheard of in the sport to be boxing at this age, but I just wanted to, female boxing has really changed over the years. In the last like 5 years, it's just kind of blown up, and I just kind of wanted to see where I was at, because I did start boxing in 1992, and in that time, female boxing wasn't really a thing. So as a pioneer of the sport, I just really want to be involved in this new generation of female boxers.
Yeah, that sounds good. So you're 47. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. How was your life growing up?
So I actually was born and raised in Canada. I was, raised in a really small community in Saskatchewan on a farm. And, we moved to a city later on, bigger city in Saskatchewan, and that's where I discovered boxing when I was 15. My family are all farmers, and we, cattle farmers, horse farmers, wheat farmers. So that was really, my upbringing as a child, and kind of what I was raised with, which is interesting because I've been a vegan for 11 years, so I kind of went the other way. But, I came to the United States in 2001, I believe, and, I've just never been back to Canada. I've been back to visit, but not to live.
Okay. What made you want to box?
So I started out in sports at a young age. I was a figure skater and a gymnast, and it just, I don't know, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really my thing. I like gymnastics, but I had a few injuries, so I took some time off when I was about 14. Always an athletic kid, loved sports, but then just because of my injury, it was really hard, to find something else that I enjoyed. So I just kind of fell into boxing. I always laugh because like people don't believe me when I say this, but actually it was the first sport that came up in the phone book when I was looking in the phone book for something to do.
Oh,
And
wow.
I really, like, as a 15-year-old kid, I actually really remember, looking through the phone book and saying, oh, boxing, this is what I'm going to do. And my father took me to a boxing gym, and at that time the Canadian Boxing Association didn't allow women to box. So I was actually the first female in that gym, and I was the second female registered in Canada as an amateur boxer.
Wow.
So, there was one other woman who she was in Ontario, and she was a lawyer, and she was actually taking the Canadian Boxing Association to court to allow females to compete in boxing.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so I kind of just jumped in at the right time. You
Yeah.
know, like I had no idea. But, after the first day, I was like hooked.
Yeah.
I never stopped. So,
Yeah. Wow. It sounds like it's working out for you, so that's good.
yep, here I am 30 years later.
What is your biggest inspiration, and who's your biggest supporters?
I mean, I have so many people that inspire me every day. I feel very blessed. I do own a gym called On the Ropes, and that's in Warwick, Rhode Island. And I feel almost emotional because I have kind of my specialty is training master boxers, which is the over the age of 35. So we have boxers that have competed from 37 all the way up to 62. And I'm actually going to a tournament this weekend with three female boxers from age. I have a 47-year-old, a 48-year-old, and a 49-year-old that are competing this weekend in Atlantic City. And just, I think, because I know how hard it was in the beginning for me, those women and men really inspire me because they have jobs, they have families, they have houses, whatever, busy people, and they choose to do this and they come here every day and they give it 100%. And I feel that, win or lose, just going through that experience, training and experiencing a training camp just makes them a better person. And it's very inspiring to see. My husband and my children inspire me every day. I want to make them proud and I want to show them that you should not give up on your goals and your dreams. And I think that's really important for my children to see. And I have to say, like, watching the female boxers of today, the Katie Taylors and the Amanda Serranos, like, they inspire me. I've been there a lot longer than them, but they really changed the game and they took it to a different level than kind of my generation that was coming up, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I always, because I know, male boxing gets so much attention. I always like wonder, like, as far as like female boxing, um, like, where is that going to, like, where is that going? Because I know for a little bit, like, it was picking up a little bit, and then it kind of
Hmm.
like dropped off a little bit, and it seems like it's starting to kind of pick back up. Is that, um, what do you think that's a credit to?
I think it's a lot of, the promoters. When I started boxing as a professional, especially in the amateur and then into a professional, a lot of promoters did not want to put females on the cards because they kind of saw it as like a sideshow or whatever. My promoter, Jimmy Birchfield, with CES, I've been with him since I think he signed me in 2000 or 2001. He always put female boxing on and he always accepted us as boxers. It wasn't female or male boxing. We were boxers, we were athletes. And I think just as the years have gone on, more and more promoters have been putting females on and seeing that we're exciting and we bring a lot of action to the game and, we sell tickets. People want to see us. And I think as that's been continuing, more and more and bigger promoters have been putting us on their cards. And of course, some of the Olympics helped a lot. Um, you know, they when I was an amateur, there was no, we had the first World Championships, and there were three countries in it. So, as it's grown and people just see it more, I think it's just getting more and more popular.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it seems. It definitely seems that way. Can you guys kind of like walk me through, like take me through like your mind before a fight, if you can, your mind during a fight, and then your mind after a fight? I know that's like a loaded question, but
Yeah.
just like take me through like the process of like preparing for your fight, when you're in the fight, and then like after everything is done?
Yeah, it is a loaded question, but I think it's something that people really need to hear because people don't understand how mental the sport is, and during training camp, you kind of play mind games with yourself, and just it's very physically exhausting, but it's also very mentally exhausting. And I think you just have to have the right mindset to be in this game. Before the fight, when I'm in training camp and training daily, I just really try and focus on the task at hand. I try not to bring any outside things into the gym with me, and I think that's really important. And in the last few fights, that's really, really helped me because it's very easy to get distracted with other things in your life, especially when you have children. And I own a business, and it's super easy to kind of fall into other things. But I just come in, I have a game plan of each training session, and that's what I really try and focus on when I'm in the gym. Fight day, in the morning, I'm a little more relaxed. I kind of eat my food, and sometimes I watch TV, or I just kind of listen to music. Um, I have a list of things that I actually use a mind coach who's a sports psychologist, and we have a list of things that I go over every training session and every fight. And I just try and read that and just kind of go over and focus on my fight plan and all the positive things that I've done in training camp to get me to that date. um, and warming up to the fight, it's really just focus on the game plan. We have multiple game plans just in case things change in the fight very easily. So my coach and I go over that. During the fight, I really just try and do, sorry, I think I lost you for a sec, a pinpoint focus of exactly what I'm supposed to do at that moment. Um, and then after the fight, obviously it's, enjoying the win. Um, but then I think the hardest part is like the few weeks after that because I'm not in a camp anymore. And, part of my personality is I just love the structure of the camp. So you kind of almost like, oh, what am I going to do now? You almost kind of get bummed out a little bit because you don't have that. You go from so intense to, oh, now I can relax. So what does that look like? And that's a little tough. The last, like the week after, the 2 weeks after the fight, I think are the hardest for me actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
You just had a fight not too long ago, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken.
Yep.
Um, how was that? I mean, I saw that you won that fight.
Yep.
But like, how was that? I mean, how was preparing and getting ready for that fight?
It's really interesting because the fight before that, I had brought in a new strength and conditioning coach and a sports psychologist, and that, not the last fight, but the fight before that, the training camp was like glorious. Like it was the best training camp I've ever had. It was like I always kind of laugh with my coach, and I'm like, oh, it was so magical. Everything we did was perfect. I got to spar Katie Taylor, who's like the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Like everything was just perfect. And this camp, I actually had a lot of injury. I was training with a bad shoulder. I didn't even like for the first probably 4 weeks of training camp. I couldn't even throw a jab. Like I was pretty messed up. But it really kind of taught me about adversity and keep pushing and really trust in the process and trust myself because I do have other skills. And I worked a lot with my coach and kind of got me over that little hump. And the fight was great. I felt amazing. I, like I said, I am 47, and most people look at me and kind of question why I'm doing this at my age, but I just felt amazing. I felt very focused and very clear. And I was really able to stick to my game plan. And, when you can perform at your best, win or lose, that's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I can only imagine like once you go through everything you go through just to be the winner at the end of all that has to be a great feeling.
It is.
Um, how old were you when you had your first boxing match?
So as an amateur, I was 15.
Okay.
And as a pro, I want to say I was like 24, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe, yeah, 24, because I actually was coming I was on the national Canadian national team as an amateur. Um and we had the world championships. I came out of that. And then I think there was like about a year where I didn't fight because it was just really hard to get fights. So that's when I decided to turn pro.
Yeah. Okay. You have to have. I would think that you have to have a lot of loyal people around you as a fighter. Um, can you talk to me a little bit about like your coach, um, your ring coach, ring the person that's in your corner? Can you talk to me a little bit about that relationship and how has that helped you over the years?
Yeah, so my coach is a friend of mine that's been, we've probably known each other for about 20 years. And he was my cut man for many years. And then, kind of we've always been in the gym together. He's from Massachusetts. His name is Steve Mays. And, when I came out of retirement, I knew exactly who I wanted to coach me. He coached me for my retirement fight when I think I was 37 or 38 at the time. And, I called him up and I said, let's just hit the mitts and see what happens. And right from there, we both knew that I wanted this and I was super hungry for it. We have a great relationship. Um, I would say the best thing about him as a coach is his honesty. He's very honest with me. If I'm having a good day or a bad day, like he tells me, he's very straightforward with me. And, getting into this again at an older age, we kind of agreed that if I ever got hurt in a fight, he was gonna stop it. He's like, you could get hurt. Like you have children, you have a husband. Like your safety is first, and that's the most important thing to me. And that's kind of how we started off coming
Yeah.
back to each other. And I trust him 100%. He, we have a good relationship, so where I feel very open to talk to him about what I'm going through in training camp, and he listens and accepts. My concerns and what I'm going through, and whatever it is, we always kind of try and fix it and work it out.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that has to be great to have a coach like that and just to have that loyalty. Because, like, I mean, every time you go in a ring, you're putting your life on the line.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what the other person is thinking. You would hope that everybody fights clean, but again, you are putting your life on the line when you step in a ring and you're fighting against people. That's good. Um, what has been your biggest fight? What's been your biggest fight so far?
I would have to say when I fought Mia St. John, just because she was such a big name, and a few I want to
Is that
say
the
like
is that the is that the on your profile you have a picture of you in the newspaper? Is that fight?
it might be. I'd have to look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fought. Oh, when did I fight her? It was a long time ago, but she was in Playboy. She was very popular. I think she was signed with Don King for a while, and this was years and years ago. But when I first turned pro, I saw her box, and I was like, oh, I want to be in the ring with that girl, and it didn't happen for so many years. And then finally, I got the opportunity. We're the main event in Providence at the convention center. And, I looked up to her. She kind of, a lot of people didn't believe in her because, she's a very beautiful woman. She was in Playboy. They didn't take her seriously, but she was a very good boxer. She beat Christy Martin. She beat some of the top names. And for me to be in the ring with her and I looked up to her for so many years was a huge accomplishment for me. And I ended up, beating her in a 10-round title fight. So that was amazing. Another person who was, again, high up at the game um, was Jane Couch, who was a world champion at one time. And she fought, she was kind of the pioneer of female boxing in England. I would say we fought on ESPN when females weren't really fighting on ESPN.
Wow.
So that was another huge, accomplishment in my career.
Yeah. That's good. It's good. ESPN. Yeah, I remember. I remember watching ESPN back in the day, and they used to have women boxing on. I don't know if I
Yep.
don't think they have it anymore, but I remember they used to have it on. That they'll do like a men's fight and then they'll have a women's fight. I don't know if they
Yep.
do that anymore. So
Yeah.
I do
Right.
remember watching that.
Yeah.
Um, you're a mother, which that's probably probably one of your proudest
Yeah.
accomplishments in your life. How is it being a mother in boxing? How do you balance that?
It's super hard, but my kids always come first. My kids are both active in activities, and I really don't miss anything. I feel very fortunate because I do own my own business, so I'm able to kind of balance everything as far as work and activities. With the training, most of my training is done during the day when they're in school. My coach and I, train during school hours, so that's really helpful for me. But it's hard to balance. I think I've been out of retirement for a few years. They're a little bit older now, so they do understand it, and they come to every single fight, and they find it really exciting. And I think it really drives and motivates them. Um, and they ask questions. They don't always love to see it, but they, I kind of leave it up to them. I'm like, do you want to go? Do you want to watch? And, that so far they've been to every fight, and they support me. And, I try and support them 100% with their dreams because I know, it's not a regular mom job.
Yeah,
As a professional boxer, I don't think there's any other professional boxers out there that, at their school or whatever. But it's it's cool, I think, for them to see just the drive that I have, and I think it's motivating to them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it's incredible that you're able to balance both. Because again, I know it's not easy. What is your husband? What does he think about the boxing, and what is his thoughts on that?
So we actually met in the gym.
Okay.
He's a Golden Gloves champion boxer, and he's one of my sparring partners that we still spar. We've been sparring together for like 20 years, and he's in my corner also. So, our whole thing has been boxing. We met in a gym. We train together every day. We spar every single Monday. We do like 10 or 12 rounds. He helps coach me when my coach can't be there. So he's, obviously he's supportive. He knows my coach and trusts my coach. So if he didn't think I could do this, he would tell me, and I feel very blessed because I have the best corner. I have my husband there who is a boxer. He was Vinny Paz's main sparring partner for his last like 5 fights. So he knows boxing. I have my coach who's been, trained everybody. And then my best friend is my cut woman who is actually, she is a dermatologist, so she can fix me up pretty well. So I just feel really, really lucky and really safe with them in my corner. But my husband's super supportive, and he gets the sport, so I think it makes it a little bit easier for us because
Yeah,
he's been there and he understands it.
yeah, that's incredible. It's good to have people like this on. That's incredible. So you're vegan, you know.
Yep.
So how long have you been vegan, and like what made you want to be vegan?
I've been vegan for about 11 years. And, as a kid growing up on a cattle farm, I think that really kind of shifted me. And, I probably saw things that most people don't see. Um, I studied nutrition at a school called Integrative Nutrition. And, they really talked about like plant based diets and vegan diets. And, it really kind of just, once I started reading about animal cruelty and plant based diets and how plant based diets are so good for inflammation and arthritis, and just kind of the whole picture really got me interested. And I tried it for a few months, and then I was pregnant with my son. And became vegetarian while I was pregnant. I was just having a little bit of trouble, getting protein in with my pregnancy. And then as soon as I had him, I went back to becoming a vegan. And as an athlete, I really credit plant-based diet and veganism as something that has helped me being, being an older athlete, because I have had a lot of inflammation, and as you age, you definitely feel things, and I feel like it's just kind of helped me keep my career a little bit longer. Um, I'm a huge animal lover, and for me it works, but I understand it's not for everybody also. So, it's something I highly believe in, but I also kind of keep it private too, because I know it can be kind of a touchy subject for some people.
Yeah. Um, you're co-owner on the Ropes Boxing. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I own the gym with three other women. And Kathy Lyons, she's actually somebody who I met through my husband. My husband works at the Department of Corrections in Rhode Island. He's a lieutenant. And Kathy, at the time, was a captain. She just thought she'd try boxing. And then all of a sudden, she was signed up for a great event called Haymakers for Hope, which is boxing they raise money for cancer. So we started training together, and she just continued with the boxing, which was amazing. And then Amy Cham, who is another woman I own the gym with, she had been a kickboxer in California, moved to Rhode Island, and then we became friends, and trained together for many years. And then Tracy Lombard is another woman that I met through working through another gym, and just kind of fell in love with the sport. And she manages all the fighters, and she manages my career also. And we decided, we just really want to open this community gym that feels good. And I love boxing. I love boxing gyms, but sometimes it can be kind of intimidating walking into a boxing gym.
Yeah.
And it's not always the warmest, most accepting place to be in. So we just opened, this gym thinking like anybody's welcome. And we have, all ages. We have men and women. We have people that are really fit. We have, people that it's their first time, ever exercising. We have competitive amateur boxers. So, it's just really, we built this really beautiful community, and we kind of just opened the door to everybody.
Yeah, it's good. That's really, really
Hmm.
good. What's a quote that you live by?
Sorry.
What's a quote that you live by?
Oh man, that's tough. I don't know if I live by a quote, but um, well, I guess I do. Age is just a number.
Age is just a number. Yeah,
Yep, it is.
that's a good one.
Yep. I mean, it's amazing. I never thought in a million years I'd be a 47-year-old professional boxer.
Yeah,
So I think just it really says like taking care of your body and your mind, and caring for yourself is just the most important thing. And I think if you do that, you can really accomplish anything at any age.
yeah. I like that. I like that one. I do. So I'm a teacher. I'm a history teacher. I teach sixth, seventh, and eighth grade history at Bridge Boston Charter School. I've been teaching for about 13 years now. Um, I love it. I love teaching kids. I just love inspiring people in general. That's just my. I just feel like that's what I. That's what I. Feel like that's what God has called me here to do.
Hmm.
So I just try to. I try to do that work as much as possible. So I'm always. I always start the lesson off like a message of the day or a quote of the day, just because I just think it's important to you know, for them to hear every day, never give up, work hard, anything is possible. Um, I just feel like this generation is all about, um, I can't do this or I can't do that. It's like, no, you can do it. You know what I mean? It all depends like how much work you're willing to put into it. So
Absolutely.
always ask that question.
Hmm.
When it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
I think just being as a boxer, just being a pioneer of the sport. I really I never quit. I never gave up, and it was hard. When I started boxing at 15, people didn't even want me in the gym. Men didn't want me in the gym, because they didn't know what it was like to have females in the gym. It was different, and I just always kept looking ahead and looking forward and pressing forward. And I think, that's just really kind of been the focus of my career, is just keep pushing. You know, I've had a lot of ups and downs in this career, but I never gave up, you
Yeah.
know. And I feel that because I never gave up, I have, you know, the things I have and the people that I have around me. And that's, you know, that's the best part, is, you know, the people I've met in the sport.
Yeah, that's good. That's really, really good. Um, top five boxers of all time. Who's your favorite top five, male or female?
Oh, male. Oh my God. That's tough. Top five boxers. So De La Hoya is definitely in the top five.
Okay.
Katie Taylor.
Okay.
Um, oh my gosh, let me think. Most people probably don't know this name, but Salvador Sanchez.
Salvador Sanchez. I've heard of that name. Yup.
Yeah, a very amazing athlete, amazing boxer. Died at a very young age. I think he was a world champion at 21. Oh my gosh, so this is a hard one. Ooh, I would say Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano. Okay.
Yep. And oh geez, they're making this hard on me. There's so many, so many. Arturo Gotti,
Okay.
huge Gotti fan. Mickey Ward, who I've, you know, been lucky and able to meet and train with. So I
Okay.
think that was six, but
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
would say
That's
those are
good.
the top.
That's good. I'll take that. What would an older version of yourself tell a younger version of yourself?
I think like now, just, you know, especially with the work I've done recently, is, you know, really enjoy the moments. You know, as a younger boxer, there was a lot of stress and worry, and, you know, I would get very nervous. And now I'm just very relaxed and I really trust the process. And, you know, I think as long as you put in the work, you know, everything's going to be fine. And, you know, a younger version of me, even when I put the work in, I just don't think I believed in that enough.
Okay. All right. This next question is a big question, but I ask everybody this. I ask everybody this question. At some point, I'm going to like comply. This is my 48th episode.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked this question about 48 times, but I just want to see like what everybody says. But I'm going to ask you. So, if you had to invite 10 people to a dinner, dead or alive, who would you invite?
Oh my gosh.
It's got to be 10. It's got to be 10.
It's got to be 10. Okay,
It's
now I
got
got
to
to
be
count
10.
on my fingers. Well, Arturo Gotti,
Okay.
definitely, because I have met him before, but you know, just always a very inspiring boxer to me, and just a huge fan. Um, oh my gosh, let me think. Let me think. I would say Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Never met him, but he
Never heard.
looks, and he was vegan for a while too, so he
Yeah, I
might
never
enjoy
heard.
my food,
Mike
especially.
Tyson is the first one. That's the first one I've heard. Okay, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, yeah, he might enjoy my cooking. Um, Dead or alive, anybody.
Anybody.
Oh my God, this is so hard. I honestly have never really thought about this. Um, Obviously my husband.
Your husband.
Yes. Um, I would say, well, you know, this one is kind of tough, but my father passed away at a very young age when I was
Yeah.
8. So I would say my father, because he never, I was not boxing when I was 8 years old. So I would be curious to see, you know, how he kind of saw my life turn out. So that'd be 4. My God, this is like so hard. You totally put me on the spot here. Um, Oh my gosh, I don't know. You were invited, of course.
Okay, I'm
You're
invited.
invited. Number
I get to
number
come to the
5.
dinner. That's perfect.
Yeah. um. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Hmm.
That's 5. You got 5. You almost
I
you
got
5.
5. Yeah.
You're
Can I
5
stop at
away.
5, or do I
Well,
have to keep going?
probably your kids, right?
Well, of course, my kids.
All
Yeah.
right, that's 6.
5,
That's
6, 7.
6.
Yeah.
That's 6.
Yeah. I would say. I'm trying to think. There's a documentary I just watched. I can't even think of this guy's name. It's actually on Netflix right now, and he just went to all the blue zones in the United or in the world. Oh my
I don't
God,
know.
what is his
I don't
name?
think I saw. I don't think I saw that one yet.
Yeah, it's a documentary about how to live to be 100
Oh, I
and
gotta check that
studying
one out. I haven't
all
seen
these.
that one.
Yeah, and I've kind of read a few of his books, and of course he's just blanking. His name is blanking on me right now, but I would love to talk to him.
Okay.
So that would be number 8. And I would say my grandparents,
Okay.
9 and 10, who they have
9 and 10.
passed, but again, I think they would be kind of interested in how my life turned out.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
perfect. There you go. You did it. You did
I
it.
did it. That was very hard.
It's,
My
it's hard. Everybody
grandparents and Mike Tyson.
that gives that gives everybody a hard time, but I ask it every episode because it's a good question, and I always
That's
like
a
to hear
great
people.
question.
And like even if I ask, I mean, when people are, like my 10 changes all the time, but
Yeah.
my 10 changes all the time, but my 5 stays the same. Like I like Princess Diana's one.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I've always been fascinated with her life. I did a
Yep.
research paper on her in 12th grade, so I learned a lot about her. Angie Martinez would be another one. They call her the voice of New York radio.
Yep.
Um, One of the reasons why I started this podcast. She's the inspiration behind it. Um, I mean, that's 2 for me. Like Jay-Z, I love Jay-Z. I'm a big Jay-Z fan. Um, Drake would be there. I love Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, Tribe Called Quest, because I love Tribe Called Quest, so
Oh
they would be
yeah.
there. So,
The
so
whole
yeah, I
gang.
mean, like,
Yep.
that's 5. So I mean, like, but my it always changes all the time.
Yeah.
Um, what would you like to see more of in women boxing?
I think just getting women on TV more. And of course, I don't know if you know the pay difference. I think that, just we're not even close to what the men get paid. And I think that really has to change in the next few years. Women like Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor and, being put on DAZN. Eddie Hearn, he would be a nice dinner guest, but
Yeah,
he's been great for female boxing because he's a huge promoter and owns DAZN and is kind of brought it to the next level. But I think it still has to level up. The pay scale is just so ridiculous. And I think it really needs to change, and I hope it changes. It's starting to, but I hope it changes more and a little bit quicker.
yeah, that's good. If you could give me some advice, what would you say?
Um, well, it depends on what you need advice for, but I think just in life, I mean, it's doing what I'm doing right now, and I really had this kind of moment in my last training camp is like I honestly and I believe this to the core that I can absolutely do anything. And I really feel that, you know, I think people are amazing, and I think people's mindset, if anybody at any time can change their mindset, and I just find that like fascinating. And you see people that go through really hard times and go through depression or just go through hard times in their life, and they always come out on top. And that's mindset, and that's hard work, and that's pushing forward. And I think that's really something people need to look at and really need to believe in themselves. And anything is really possible. It really,
Yeah,
really is. And, I try and, kind of tell people that all the time. And I really, in my soul, I really feel that.
yeah, no, I mean, I really appreciate it. Um, just thank you so much for taking this time out to come here and talk to me. It really means a lot to me. I think that I definitely want to come and see you fight one time. So if that's anything, if you can work that out where I get to watch
Absolutely.
you fight, I really would appreciate that. But I just appreciate you coming on here. You're an incredible woman. I have a lot of respect for you for what you do, not only with the boxing, but also being a mother and how you balance everything. And my advice to you is just continue to do what you're doing. You're inspiring everybody. You're inspiring me, and yeah, I just think it's wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on today, too.
No problem at all.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
you're
Take care.
welcome.
Bye.
You too.